The Lions of Oklahoma have been really involved in the service scene for over 100 years now. They were part of the first national convention when the international organization was formed in 1917. The great thing about Lions is that not only is it an international organization, you have scope around the world, throughout the country, but then also at the state and local levels. And that's one of the great things about Lions in general is it's got the flexibility to handle anything. In individual communities, you'll see the clubs will work on donating eyeglasses or maybe giving scholarships in their local schools or feeding the hungry in their own communities, whatever that looks like. It's that flexibility to kind of do it at any level. Here in Oklahoma, we've got some primary state projects. It's just a great opportunity to serve our communities, serve our state, and really just the camaraderie of service and the people you meet through the Lions is just fantastic. So it's a great organization, and I'm definitely proud to be a part of it.
We have a 160-acre campus, and we've got 5 homes on that. We had a capital campaign that resulted in raising a little over $1 million, and we built 4 new homes specifically for foster parents to live in if they agree to foster a minimum of 4 children with a priority on keeping brothers and sisters together. And then we renovated an existing house, so that leaves us with 5 homes that we have available to foster parents to care for brothers and sisters. What we do is we have a contract with the state that pays a portion of our operating expense to recruit foster parents, train those foster parents, and then provide ongoing support and monitoring of those foster parents. The great thing about a public-private partnership is we can take that state dollar and then we can take donations from Lions clubs and individuals from across the state of Oklahoma, and we can leverage that state dollar and the private donation to do more than any state agency's ever been able to do before. So that allows us specifically to have smaller caseloads than what DHS is able to have. It allows us to connect in our communities and get volunteers that are able to work with our families. Being a private agency that's partnered with a public agency, it just allows us to be nimble and to be able to respond quickly to the needs of families so that at the end of the day, the children that need the most help get it. So as the Meadows of Hope, as a foster care agency, we can be the first placement. And whenever those kids come in, they're coming in with all their brothers and sisters. That's what we built the houses for. And so whenever that sibling set of 4 comes in, we can say, you can be here until you go home or until you find your forever family. One of the sibling groups that we've got right now, they're 3-year-old twins, an 8-year-old little girl, and a 14-year-old boy. And they were in foster care for a little over a year, and the twins were in one house, the 8-year-old was in another house, and the 14-year-old was in another house. But whenever we had this house that came open on our campus, they were able to all come together and be in one place. And they've been there a little over a year now. The family that they've been living with, Kenny and Pauletta Payne, have said, we're gonna be your forever family. And so those kids, really, if we didn't have the Meadows of Hope, those 4 kids would have been separated. The parental rights would have been terminated, and those little girls would have been adopted by somebody. The 8-year-old would have been adopted by somebody. And reality is that 14-year-old probably wouldn't have been adopted. But now, they're able to see a future where they're together. That's where the Meadows of Hope comes in. As we move forward, we're developing a space and we're developing the resources to say, we know what to do. If you come here to the Meadows of Hope and you come to our new community center, and it's also a training center, we're gonna give you the skills that you need, and we're gonna give you the community support that you need to continue to say yes to these foster kids. Our plan is to build a community center. It would be a place for recreation. It would be a place for all of our families to come together in one place. You know, our families have 8 or 9 kids in them in each house. And so if one kid has a birthday party and he wants to invite the other families on campus, there's nowhere for them to go because you get 2 families together, there's 20 people. We also provide foster parent training at least once a month. We have a relationship with a therapist, and we're building that program, and that's, as we move forward, we would reach out to more therapists to come to our campus and provide counseling. We do intensive therapy / training services with a program called HALO, Healing, Attachment, Loving Outreach. And families drive from other states to Oklahoma City to attend these 10-week intensive sessions, and we're able now to provide those same counseling and training sessions there on our campus in Perkins. We're excited to say we're not limited by our campus. We have supports through 100 years of Lions Clubs in the Lions Clubs of Oklahoma from really across Oklahoma, and every community allows us to go into Stillwater and Cushing and different communities around Perkins and Stillwater area, and already have an anchor of support and community service and a reputation that can come in and say, we're one of the good guys. And we've got a history and a reputation with Lions Club that gives us that door. One of the things that makes the Lions Meadows of Hope pretty unique, we received an estate gift from a lion that had been a lion for 50 years in Shawnee, Lion Paul Milburn. And whenever he passed away, he left a portion of his estate to the Lions Meadows of Hope. It's about $200,000 a year that we're able to receive in matching donations. And we raise around $200,000 a year in general contributions. And so effectively what that means for us is every dollar that we receive is matched 100% by the Paul Milburn Gift Fund. And so we take that contract with the state and we go out and we get contributions from Lions and supporters across the state, and then the Paul Milburn Gift Fund matches that. So we take that dollar from the state and turn it into $3. Paul Milburn really could see this empty field with no homes, and he could see a full community of children being cared for and loved. And he put his money where his mouth is, and the Lions of Oklahoma stepped up with him, and we built these homes.
I have grown so much through the Lions Club, so I can only imagine what other people are learning through the Lions Club, and not just me. I have actually every single one of my children involved with the Lions Club because it's such a good place for people to learn about leadership, about mentorship, about community, about giving, about understanding, and about serving. And that's what we do, we serve.
What we know is that service and the need is colorblind. It doesn't matter. And we've felt and been accepted with open arms anywhere we go. It doesn't matter where you are, what your beliefs are, but it's the banner of the organization that you serve. And that's just the memories. It's just being able to travel, to different conventions and just to meet people. And even if you haven't seen them in 2 or 3 years, they remember your face, and you can just pick up the conversation like you just talked to them yesterday. And that's just what it's all about, being able to reach out to individuals outside of Lionism if you need help with something personal. I mean, you need something moved or whatever it is, anything that you can do, help with families, something at the church, whatever it is. And that's what keeps my lion fire burning, if you will, to continue to push and just do the great work of the organization.
The iBank's been operating since 1957, and it was brought about by a lion in Perry, Oklahoma, who had actually heard about iBanks at a national convention. And so when he came back to Oklahoma, he brought it up in front of the body of lions, and they voted to have an iBank. We've had 24,000 donors since 1957, and we've transplanted 20,708 as of the end of 2018. In 2013, we had done 213 donors, and last year we had 791. So we've grown 348% in 5 years. We basically take the cornea, and we have a microkeratome, and we have the cornea here, and we slice it like this. And then the graft that the surgeon will transplant is about between 60 and 90 microns thick. So it's very, very thin. Eventually we will do DMEK, which also has Descemet's membrane in it, but that is a manual dissection instead of with the microkeratome. Those surgeries, when I first started, accounted for about 20% of our surgeries. Now they're about 70% because it's a 3mm incision for the transplant. And so it's very small, and it's a lot better for the recipient as far as healing time goes. We get a call or a notification on every person in this state who dies in a hospital that's under the age of 70 and over the age of 2. So that 68-year window. We will get the call, we'll call the nurse back, get some preliminary information as far as health history, what actually caused their death, what brought them into the hospital, because there are things that we rule out for. If that checks out, we will then call the family, ask them if they would be interested in donation, and if they are, we will then go to the funeral home, hospital, medical examiner's office, just wherever, and do the recovery. And we've actually done it at a private residence before for a hospice patient because it needs to be sterile, but we don't need to be in an operating room. And so we'll do the recovery, which takes about 20 minutes. We draw 2 tubes of blood that we'll test for hepatitis B and C, syphilis, and HIV. We bring the corneas back to the eye bank. We have 2 different microscopes we look under, a slit lamp microscope and a specular. And the specular shows us all the cells on the endothelium, which is the innermost layer. And so that's a good predictor of whether the transplant would be viable if you have enough cells to transplant. We'll do that, get medical records, read all the records from this recent hospital stay and make sure there was no infection. Certain blood cancers we don't transplant, like lymphoma, leukemia. Certain eye surgeries people have had before also, we wouldn't be able to transplant those. But we'll bring them back, look through all the history, and then at that point, if they are deemed suitable for transplant, we'll call whoever's next on the surgery schedule, offer them that tissue, and then if they accept it, we'll either FedEx it or drive it or fly it to their location, and it'll be transplanted the next morning. And then we get a follow-up in 3 to 6 months, a post-op, to let us know how the graft is doing. It's a good place to work, and it makes you feel like you're really helping people out.
It's just really great to be a part of this organization that does so much to help bring awareness and service to the communities that we serve.
It's given us an opportunity for our boys to learn about serving other people in a way that they wouldn't probably with any other organization.
LEOs is a community service organization that ranges from ages 12 to 18. LEO actually stands for Leadership Experience Opportunity. It's just basically a group where teenagers from all around the community can get together and, make things happen in the community and get to learn more about Lions and Lions International and what they do worldwide. We've done many projects over the years. We've transformed a nursing home's garden into one of the most beautiful gardens in Lawton. We have attended 2 international conventions. We fundraised for both of them ourselves. We attended a Council of the Blind convention. We led blind people around, helped them in their seats, helped them look at programs, take them to different vendor tables. LEOs is a great thing to get into. It really helps you. It teaches you not just, how about making friends, things like that. It gives you leadership opportunities.
Everywhere, service is going down. We need volunteers everywhere. Everyone's having trouble. Every organization's having trouble getting volunteers. So what we need to do is instill in our young people the idea that giving back and service is important to you as a community, not just dollars, but putting your hands on doing a project that helps someone else, meeting people's needs in a way that you can't meet only with volunteers.
Oklahoma KidSite program was first started about 4 years ago now. It was at one of the international conventions, Lions International Conventions, and in the exhibit hall, walked past a booth that had a camera or 2 in it. Being a photographer, that immediately struck my mind as, I wonder what that is. So I stepped in just to take a quick look. About an hour later, I left the Welch Allyn booth and had stumbled onto a device that screens children's eyes. The Oklahoma program was sort of launched then of trying to raise some money to get cameras for this program. I think the best part about the camera is that it is so non-intrusive for the child.
Ryder was 4 years old, attending a preschool, and they did a screening with the Lions Club KidSight cameras. And when I went to pick him up from school that day, they handed me a piece of paper with the results, and they told me that the Lions Club suggested that I go see an optometrist because it indicated a deficiency in his left eye. We noticed that Ryder was turning his head slightly when he would watch TV. So we asked him why he did it, and he said, because I can see better. So my husband and I thought, okay, maybe there's something to this whole Lions Club thing. We should probably go get him tested. We took him to our local optometrist, who did some lengthy testing on him and determined that yes, he had a deficiency in his left eye. She determined astigmatism and amblyopia with a slight farsightedness as well. You know, had this happened later, maybe he wouldn't be doing so well. So I'm just very thankful to the Lions Club and this program. And totally believe that it changed our lives and it can change others as well.
This is the Welch Allyn camera. Here again, the beauty is it's done at a distance of 3 feet from the child. The back screen is like a receiver on a video or a little television screen. You can see where it's pointing. The front part is what the child, you'll tell them to look into it, and it's a maze of lights flashing, which helps keep the child's attention. The camera's going to tell me I'm too close, I'm too far. When I'm at the exact 3-foot type range, it tells me that, and it automatically captures the child's eyes. It will immediately tell me whether this was a pass screening, that it was within the calibrations of the eyes, or if there were some eye issues, and it would say complete eye exam recommended. With our program, we would then hit print and print that paper out, which shows all the measurements and everything, so that the school, daycare, preschool could send it home to the parent. We make sure that they understand that if one of these kids' family has a difficulty in getting their child additional help or an exam, that they can come to us and see if we can't work out something to help them then with that full eye exam. At this point, since we started our program, I think we've screened approximately about 22,000 kids, maybe 25,000 now. Our target group is 6 months to 6 years old. That's because this is the years that the eyes are forming and developing. We not only screen the schools, but we do screen at events. This program is just a continuation of what Lions are known for, vision. This started in 1925 when Helen Keller spoke at our international convention. And at the conclusion of her presentation, she made a challenge to the Lions. She challenged us to be Knights of the Blind. We accepted that challenge. And so since the time in 1925, vision has been a very, very big part, and probably is what we're Lions are best known for. With this program now, we're able to go capture these kids' problems and find them out, hopefully well before they might turn permanent. Well, I've got assistance from my friend Ryder, and what this camera in those matter of 5 to 8 seconds does, scans these eyes for nearsightedness, farsightedness, blurred vision from astigmatism, unequal refractive power, misalignment of the eyes, lazy eye, and then the unequal pupil size. We think of glasses as being, no big deal. Well, it is to us that wear glasses, isn't it? It is a big deal to us and all. So,
other people.
That's right. That's right.
Our Guyman Lions is very active in the community. We have chili supper that we do in January. We send out letters for recommendation for children to the schools, to DHS. They send us names, then we send the parents letters. We get volunteers, and we take approximately 100 children from ages 5 to 10 to Walmart. So each volunteer gets anywhere from 2 to 5 kids. I think that's the best part of being a Lion, because you see those kids and some of them want to buy their clothes, some of them want to buy food. It's like, no, we want you to have toys, but they know what they want.
We have 2 age ranges. We like to service the school age kids so that we can make sure that they can do their studies. And then the seniors generally don't have a program where they get glasses from anybody. So we kind of target those in our community. And so we buy glasses for the elderly and the school age kids.
The Oklahoma Lion Service Foundation is a 501c3 organization, so it's a nonprofit organization and all donations are tax deductible. And I'm the executive director. I've enjoyed it a lot. I've learned a lot about lions, but mostly I've enjoyed the service projects. And the service projects that I mostly handle is the Mobile Health Screening Unit, which is a unit that travels around Oklahoma City and the surrounding areas, and then also throughout the state. We perform screenings for people that may or may not be able to get to the doctor or a physician. We look at screenings like blood pressure, we look at lung capacity, glucose, which is your sugar levels in your blood, cholesterol levels. We also have a bone density unit. So it's a really good unit that checks bone density in people that may or may not have osteoporosis, but kind of detects for that. And then we purchased a new machine this year. It's called a tonometer, and it's a non-invasive machine that detects the eye pressure in your eyes without actually being invasive. So it can be preventative side of glaucoma. We have a driver that takes the unit wherever they want to go and sets everything up, and then we have volunteers. We love to have Lions volunteers because then that way they can spread the word about Lions and what Lions do in the community.
It's like a community service, no matter where I go, whether I go from one end of the state to the other. I enjoy helping people with the opportunity to find any problems they have that can be corrected, whether it's glaucoma, bone density, blood sugar, cholesterol. We got a lung capacitor, I got a BMI, and we do IQD. It's great for the public, it's free. And no matter where we go, and the Lions Club in the community is usually the one that's asked us to be here. And it's great being a Lion. I like the people I work with. I get around, we have meals, and we have get-togethers, and it's great.
We've done a few events, and we had one boy that actually passed out because he hadn't been eating, and he was training for a marathon, so we was on the scene for that and got him where he was okay. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have thought nothing. They would have had to call the EMTs. I get to meet lots of new people, and I'm really kind of a shy person. It kind of brings me out of my shell. It gives you a good feeling to help others.
It's a great feeling to be able to do this, helping people, make sure if they're sick, maybe we can help improve their health, and that's super. That's a great way to give back to our community here in Oklahoma City. I enjoy serving. It's my way of giving back as best I can and be involved in the community.
I think just meeting the public and meeting the people and getting involved with other Lions, getting involved with fundraisers, knowing that you've done a good job or that somebody is grateful for the services that you've provided has been wonderful. I can think of probably a couple of instances where it's really meant something to me and it's really been heartfelt. And that was when we did a back to school bash for the children on the southwest side of town. And most of these kids don't have the funds to be able to go out and buy new clothes or buy backpacks or school supplies. And so we were one of the partners of several that provided haircuts, backpacks, school supplies. We did kids' sight screening. We did mobile health screening for these kids. We had kids that came through with their blood sugar levels up in the 300s. And that was very scary, and and the parents didn't know, the kids didn't know. And so we visited with them and asked that they take their child to the doctor and get checked just to make sure that everything's okay. But the fact that somebody 8 years old that might have childhood diabetes or juvenile diabetes, that could be found that early just with the mobile health screening unit, to me meant a lot, that this could change that whole person's life. The elderly, when they come through, they're the sweetest people in the world, and they're so grateful. If you do a bone density or you do the blood pressure, whatever it is that you do, they're just so grateful to you for being there. It makes you feel good about the job you do. And I think in general, Lions have a really good attitude about service. It's all about serving others without that desire to have a pat on the back. It's just that knowing that you did a good job.
In this state, we have a lot of natural disasters, be it tornadoes, ice storms, grass fires, any number of things. It's been a very important role for the Lions in being able to address that. In particular, in 2013, with the tornadoes that devastated Moore and other areas, we were able to jump in and help out in a number of different ways. We ended up, through the Lions Club's International Foundation, we were able to get $700,000 in funds that we were able to use here. That was done through a number of different donations. It was one of the few events where the International Foundation actually allowed folks to donate for a specific cause, and in this case, it was the Moore tornadoes. So those funds we used initially for just immediate needs. We actually went out on site in Kearney and in Moore and a few other places and set up shop. We actually used our mobile health screening unit as a sort of a staging area, and went out and had folks come through. We provided them with vouchers for immediate need items like food, clothing, bedding, that sort of thing. We did some other things. We had a shopping day that we set up here at the state office where we had a number of different items that were provided from a number of places. We had Lions from New Jersey, Lions from Louisiana, and other places that sent us truckloads of donated goods for this purpose. We did a shopping day here, a free shopping day, where we had all sorts of canned goods and different food items that had been donated. The building next door, we had clothes that had been donated and a number of other things. And so folks were able to come through and just, by showing us that they lived in the affected areas, they could come through and get supplies to help them out in the short term. Disaster relief is one of the core tenets of Lions International. There's so much need for it here with all the things that happen. Even dating back to the Murrah bombing, there was a lot of funding that came to help out with that. One of the fantastic parts of being a Lion, and for me personally, it's been really a labor of love. They say you really don't become a Lion until you get that first warm, fuzzy feeling from volunteering. And I've had a number of those over the years, but disaster relief, I think, really turned out to be kind of my calling as a Lion, and something I just think is fantastic and really enjoy doing. It gives people a chance to come together to help others, which is really what we do as Lions. Our motto is "We serve," and I don't know of a better example of that than what we do in the arena of disaster relief.
My name's Tom Cummings. I'm director of the Oklahoma Lions KidSite program. I'm also a member of the Oklahoma Lions for 12 years now.
My name is Colleen Michael, and I'm an Oklahoma Lion.
My name's Brian Larison. I'm the executive director of the Lions Meadows of Hope, and I'm an Oklahoma Lion.
My name is Cindy Farrell, and I'm an Oklahoma Lion.
I'm Tom Mulligan, and I'm a Lion.
My name is Holga Huffman. I'm an Oklahoma Lion.
My name is Jeremy Smith, and I'm an Oklahoma Leo.
My name is Marie Burns. I'm the executive director for the Oklahoma Lions Service Foundation. I am an Oklahoma Lion.
I'm Johnny Bennett, and I am a Lion.
My name is Troy Jenkins. I'm the chair of the Disaster Relief Committee here in Oklahoma for the Lions, and I'm an Oklahoma Lion.
My name is Charles Michael, and I'm an Oklahoma Lion.
I'm Linda Bennett, and I am a Lion.
My name is Daniel Farrell, and I'm an Oklahoma Lion.
My name is Joshua Busby, and I'm an Oklahoma Lion.